Misty watercolor memories of the wayward. Alrighty then, my roll chums, it is I, Daniel. You may call me the pop culture dude, and ever since I made a community poll by saying, I have some 2 video ideas. I recently went to Universal Epic Universe back on March 25th for an early access preview, or I can do an unboxing of some more Sonic Movie 3 merchandise with Professor Gerald Robotnik. Also, the light-up pack of Super Sonic and Super Shadow, and we all unbox them in this potential one final Sonic 3 merch unboxing video because, you know, the hype of the movie's already slowed down. The movie's already been out for a couple of months. You can watch it on Paramount Plus, you can watch it on digital, but that being said, it's never too late to unbox, like, the last remaining characters of my merchandise, as we shall begin the unboxing review! And yes, as the time recording this, it is March 2025, and it's so funny that, like, out of all the screenshots of Sonic 2, they showed this one where Knuckles in the background where it goes, Knuckles are 5 below, do you know the way?
Knuckles are 5 below, Knuckles are 5 below, Knuckles are 5 below. You do not know the way.
And yes, you want to know what's the irony of it all? Sonic is next to the Justice League, which how ironic, because both DC and Sonic are doing, like, a comic crossover as it's running right now online. But that being said, the last time I've done like a Sonic 3 merch unboxing was during when I've unboxed the Shadow Motorcycle playset, which I've uploaded that like way back of last year, when the movie was like back during a time with the promos and the trailers. So it's been a while, so I decided to, like, you know, show what's all over my shelf filled with a bunch of little rodents. And yes, I do got the McDonald's toys, which I've only got the Sonic Trio, but not Shadow, because, you know, bro's really so darn marketable. But I'm gonna be honest, those toys are cool along with the Happy Meal boxes, but I still prefer the movie 2 toys compared to movie 3. So outside of McDonald's, we got the Crackmatic playset. We got this one box set that made my channel, like, for what? For this one video for unboxing these 4 figures that almost made over 100k views, which that was pretty wild. But the main focus would be the Super Saiyan rodents and Grand Pop-Tart right here to reunite with his long-lost grandson, more stinking hedgehogs. We got Sonic 2 merchandise, comic books, Uncle Pops where voice actors make the signatures, and we got some more minifigures based on the second movie. And let's not forget, last but not least, the plushies and the Death Egg robot. So without further ado, let's go unbox the Monopoly guy and Super Saiyans of John Ralphio and John Wick. And voila, here's my entire Sonic movie merch collection. Yes, the majority of them are for the Sonic movies just because I'm a huge dork for this movie franchise. And also, just to keep it up for what I've got from the first movie, the second movie, and the third. And yeah, I do got the Blu-rays of the first and second movie, which I will make a Blu-ray onboxing for the third Sonic movie once when it comes out on fiscal release by next month. So aside from the Funko Pops, I pretty much did like an unboxing of the majority of the merch. I've already done the plushies, the 5-inch scale figures, including Ivo Robotnik, including the minifigures to compare with the last movie. But then we're on between Super Sonic, Super Shadow, and Gerald Robotnik. I do got more space for merchandise like the Death Egg robots, but they don't unfortunately just fit in my bed. So between these two, you know what? Since I am a huge Jim Carrey fanboy myself, I think I'm gonna go with Gerald Robotnik to unbox first. Double your villains, double your fun. 2 Robotniks are way worse than 1. So even though, yes, Gerald Robotnik is like the main focus of this unboxing, but let's be honest, guys, it's not the same with having his long-lost grandson, Ivo Robotnik. So I noticed, like, from the packaging, of course, it's pretty much the same like every single Sonic 3 figure, because once when they say Ivo Robotnik during the Wave 1 figures of Sonic 3, I definitely knew that they're going to make a Gerald Robotnik figure, which I don't think JAKKS Pacific has ever made, like, any modified versions of Gerald at all, so that's completely new. As you can see from the back, you see their bio. So since we're going to be focusing on Gerald's, for Ivo it says, Ivo Robotnik proves that you can't keep an evil genius down for long. It sets his sights on world domination. No big deal. And then Professor Gerald Robotnik says, Professor Gerald Robotnik is the genius scientist behind Project Shadow and grandfather Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Then you see the major differences where you see the Wave 1 Sonic, and then you see the exact same Sonic figure. Then you get to see Super Shadow without the LED lights, and then Knuckles with the Flames of Disaster. Ivo has 20 points of articulation while Gerald has 18, because, you know, the major difference is at least Gerald on the other hand actually has a fat body, while Ivo on the other hand does not have a fat body, because clearly this figure is more based on his second movie suit rather than the third movie look, which I'll admit, I kind of wish that if they would have made like another figure of Ivo, which I don't think they ever will, but they should have like taken inspiration from his video game counterpart of how he looks like in the game. So without further ado, let's go compare and contrast between both the Robotniks unboxed. Double the carries, double the mayhem. So even though I've already unboxed Ivo, but I'm still going to compare it to Gerald, but let's be honest, Gerald's like the real main focus. So as I get to feel the material of his lab coat, it's very rubbery. Like you could definitely say like it's pretty plastic, which if I compare it to Ivo's, yeah, the material definitely feels similar, but obviously, you know, it's like with different material of how the way that his coat is made compared to how Ivo Robotnik looks like in the second one. But as for Gerald, on the other hand, it's definitely like a lot more, I would say soft, but, you know, still a bit more squishy, I guess. Like that's the best way to describe it. But you know, the major difference is they actually gave Gerald a big fat belly, and you're telling me that Ivo couldn't, even though he also gained weight in Sonic 3, so he could play Congress with this big fat belly. But either way, I think it would be pretty funny. But if we look in like up closer to like with the faces, I mean, you could tell with Ivo, he definitely looks a lot more like Jim Carrey, which for Gerald, I could still see somewhat the Jim Carrey impression, but I think the problem is like the big mustache kind of like gets away with his big grand grumpy like frown that he's definitely showing, because you know he's definitely the grumpy one. So that's because he has this huge Lorax style mustache that's kind of like covering the mouth. Same goes for the eyebrows, because I get it, he's supposed to be angry. I must find a way to stop sequels from coming.
I must find a way to stop sequels from coming.
Aren't you quoting the Grinch, Grandpappy?
Yes, I happen to admire to like all the Who's because I hate, double hate, loathe entirely.
You sound just like him, Grandpop-Tart. Yes, I know. But all jokes aside, I mean, if I definitely take the articulated joint, since it's only like 18 parts articulation, definitely say that Gerald's definitely a lot more lean. Like, I can literally do like the galvanized dance, see, like, you know, they can recreate the don't hold back. I just noticed that he also has like this little old man watch, because yeah, he did have like a watch in the movie. And as if the camera starts to focus on, please don't go blurry, thank you, it literally says Doctor, and then you got a picture image where it says Gerald Robotnik, but in reality he's a professor. That's the doctor. So as we look forward to the detail of his shoes, it's definitely like the same old man shoes that he had before, and it's a bit more brown, more swivelly. Oh, well, you know, the legs are quite more flexible by saying,
yes, I can work out pretty good for my age.
looking pretty good for 110. So you can definitely like put the arms out, but you can't like twist around the butterfly judge, be like,
oh yeah, you just want to take a piece of me of this fossil? Well, guess what? Your mom's a paleontologist because she digs me.
you're gonna be living in your basement till you're 45.
You're gonna be living in her basement till you're 45.
That's like a quote reference from the deleted scenes when Ivo was like a content creator streamer. But anyway, not trying to be perverted, but let's look underneath the coat. So you can clearly see, yeah, you can see the fat belly literally by the coat, and there's some stains. I don't know, is that part of the figure? I don't know, a part mistake from JAKKS Pacific. I mean, his head in particular, you can,
that's a good space for a good old chiropractor. I can see you everywhere.
So you can move Gerald from left and right when it comes to like the bald head. If I compare it to like Ivo's head, yeah, Gerald's a lot more bigger when it comes to the bald head by saying like, well, you do look like me, fatter and older. Besides the funny smell, the resemblance is uncanny. It's as if
we are two characters in a movie being played by the same actor.
So I will say, like, I think they do a good job of how they do the face sculpt for Ivo's face, because this looks a lot more like Jim Carrey than Gerald, which you can still see the Carrey face, but you know, the stash just kind of covers it. Like, even though Gerald has the big like his big mustache is like, you know, supposed to be like similar like Ivo's, but since it's a lot more hairier and bushier, it is what it is. But that being said, like, I think with the articulated joints, I feel like Ivo has like more flexibility, because you know, he does have a fat bob, while Gerald definitely like has its limits. But I will say, like, his legs are a bit more lean by saying,
all right, I was saving it for Comic-Con, but now there won't be a Comic-Con. Yeah.
And basically, you could just like make Gerald do some kung fu moves. Like, not gonna lie, his body sculpt kind of reminds me of the Kingpin from the Daredevil TV shows. But that being said, for the first Gerald Robotnik figure, I'm so glad they actually made one, which, even though it would be cool if they make like the Eggman game spacesuits that they have, like literally in the final act where Gerald was a scorpion, Ivo was a mantis, so I think that would have been nice. But even like their feet swivels are like quite similar in a way, because, you know, they're biologically related, which I think, comparing it with these two figures, I can literally just recreate both the scenes with both Robotniks played by Jim Carrey.
Where'd you go, Hedgehog? I wasn't finished trauma dumping. My darlings, my eggy wiggies. Memories like the corners of my mind. Misty watercolor memories of the world. I don't believe it, don't you? It's impossible, is it? It couldn't be, couldn't it? I am, are you? Imposter! You stole my babies. They know who their real daddy is. Drone napper? Magnificent creations, my boy. I borrow them to lure you here and reunite our family. You see, Ivo, I'm your grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. Are you sure your name is Gerald? Are you sure you are my grandpappy? No, I'm your beloved Count Olaf.
I am your beloved Count Olaf.
What? Poppy seed? Grand Geezer, donde está? I'm right here. If you weren't family, I would catch you like a pheasant. I mean, try to keep up. You're a heartless son, rotten to the core. I'm so proud. So now we can just dance right through. That sounds like a challenge.
My finger is on the button.
Push the button. I don't believe this. I know, grandson. A woman in the military.
Unexpectedly, by the last minute, I decided to think of comparing it to the other Eggman figure. So clearly, this is the Dr. Robotnik figure from Sonic Movie 2, which clearly he's 4-inch. He's definitely like a smaller in scale than the tall one, which is 5-inch, which I do like this one compared to the previous Sonic 2 figure. And this is just the minifigure from Sonic 3, which I am aware they actually made a minifigure for Gerald Robotnik in a separate pack, along with Agent Stone, which is baffling that you're telling me that Agent Stone, who's like the only original human character in the Sonic movies, gets a minifigure, but not a 5-inch scale figure? Come on, JAKKS Pacific. Like, even though I would like to consider to get Stone for small scale, but I feel like Agent Stone deserves to be like in the full scale so it could be part of the Eggman Empire. And speaking of Eggman, I mean, as Ivo falls down, this is what I mean. So even though it's cool that I got like the video game one, it would be nice if Ivo gets the game accurate suit, kind of like this one, since this Eggman's definitely like, you know, accurate from the video games. And that one on the other side is just like the one that you see from the classic era, which if I put this classic Eggman next to Gerald, since they're both pretty fat, this is how they look like. Definitely, he looks round like he's a giant bowling ball, while this one's just more like, you know, the usual dad bod, if that's the case. Why are you fatter than me?
I don't know, you tell me, because I hate that hedgehog so much.
Why do you sound like that? Sounds like you're just smoking out cigarettes. Oh, I'm so sorry, I just knocked the other clone. How dare you knock me down, Grandpappy?
Oh, I'm loving the ring of this, am I right? What? Who are these people from? Are you me from the future?
No, I happen to be the real Gerald Robotnik from all the way back from the last 50 years.
That's strange, because I thought my grandfather was dead. That's when I discovered when he decided to be exterminated by gun.
And that's why we must plot our revenge. Well, we cannot have a deathly plot when you can conspire with family.
Well, that's why we can roll our own empire, the Eggman Empire, if that's the case.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
But also, you could be a part of my podcast, Los Huecos Huevos Diablos.
I have no idea what that means, but count me in.
But yeah, we could just watch more episodes of La Ultima Pasión.
I have no idea what that is, but count me in.
Trust me, other variants of me, you'll love it.
Now, this is more like it. This is how the Eggman Empire should be. Multiple clones from other dimensions.
Most exactly, my fat and hairy replica of myself. This is how I would say the Robotniks have entered the chat. Now, who's with me?
I am. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I can't even feel my legs. Can someone please help me up?
Don't worry, I'll help you out, other fat version of my grandson. Oh, yay, I think I broke my hip, and I pooped.
And now, as I already compared it to the other Eggman figures, how about we do it with 2 Robotniks 50 years apart and 2 Hedgehogs 50 years apart, which clearly that's been like the biggest rivalry between Sonic versus Shadow, Ivo, and Gerald, and then they fight later on. So I could tell by the 5-inch scales. I mean, like I said, as much as I love these figures, clearly, if you want them to be like in accuracy in terms of like how tall they are, because you know in the movies they're a lot shorter than the humans, but for the Robotniks in particular, I feel like that Gerald is a bit taller than Ivo, so I feel like that's kind of inaccurate because, you know, they're both played by Jim Carrey. And as for the Hedgehogs, like I said, as figures they're great, but in terms of like height, if you want to compare them to like the other Robotniks in the figure wave, it's gonna be like they're just gonna be looking like they're furry mascots just walking around Disney World or something like that. So I just think it's not gonna work that way. But instead, if I decide to put like the 4-inch figure from Sonic 2, then there you go. The high accuracy is more believable because I'm like, well, if they had to be like sentient beings around their world, then that'll be the case. But technically, since they've never made a 4-inch figure, because this is the figure from Sonic 2, not from Sonic 3. But for the other Shadow figure, if I put like the motorcycle one, it's still going to be a much more bigger contrast if that's the case. And heck, I don't think it's really going to help that much, because if I get like the 2.5-inch minifigures, which, yeah, they're smaller, but that being said, they're just, you know, way too short. You got 2 short kings that are about to like be as the same height wave where it comes to the legs. But that being said, I kind of wish like they would make the scales like kind of like Sonic 2, but definitely make it in the more style like Sonic 3's figures where it's more detailed, but, you know, make it high accurate to stand with both the Robotniks. But either way, it's just a small nitpick that I thought of. You see what I mean? Even when if I try to compare it to Tails, I mean, for Tails, I guess it's kind of believable of like how, you know, with the width and the length of how he's tall next to the Robotniks. But when you see Knuckles on the other hand, bro, he can literally just pick up this old man and be like, take this, old Grand Robotnik, and basically just beat him down like easily, like so tall. Like, I feel like Gerald is like almost the exact same height as Knuckles now that I'm thinking about it. Which, wait a minute, since I got these 4 characters, I think I have a fun idea to pull off.
Professor, it's good to see you, Shadow. I knew you'd come home. Easy, Shadow. Those were the guests I've been expecting. Let's give them a warm welcome.
There's 2 Eggman now? Double your villains, double your fun. 2 Robotniks are way worse than 1. Chest bump? No. You must be the long-lost grandson. And you must be another stinking hedgehog. London, baby! Team Robotnik, assemble! Come on, Granddaddy-O, we've got dirt to do. Where are they? Up there? Where? Higher. Left yourself open. Please, Grancy, don't do this! Sorry, kiddo. Bringing your grandkid to work day is over. Any last words? Just one thing that I never thought I'd say. What is it? I love you. No? I was thinking something better, but that's not what I'm gonna say. If that's what you're gonna think, okay, bye. Ha 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 ha! Grandchildren, all the fun and none of the responsibility. Who said life was pointless, huh? Oh, right. You did. Anyway, I'm having way too much fun with Robo Scum and Scummer. See what I did there? It's like the smart version of Dumb and Dumber. Anyway, yeah, forget about my cringy jokes. I already have fun with both the Robotniks. Now let's get to the Super Saiyan Hedgehogs. Next, to unbox, to live and learn. And now, my royal chums, for the grand finale that you've all been waiting for. Bow, bow, now. Bow, bow, now. Bow, now, 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 now. That's right, I got Super Sonic and Super Shadow in the palm of my hands. Thanks to the courtesy of Target down below, I finally got the chance to pre-order them online, even though I'm aware that these figures have been out like literally when the movie was out, released in theaters. These figures were so hard to get at a decent price, but actually I got it at a fair price as it should be. But that being said, it doesn't feel the same of like having the blue and black Sonic and Shadow figures lining up without their Super Sonic forms and the Super Shadow form, because look at it, just like in the movie, like bro, the amount of ore that's been glow up, gotta go fast. Don't tell me you got a catchphrase. That's right, new Hedgehog, and everyone loves it. Bro, It looks so cool in the light up, which, yeah, it did not have like any try-me features, but I decided to remove it because, come on, it looks really cool of how they light up. Like, heck, if I even turn off the lights, yo, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Live and learn, hanging on to the edge of tomorrow. So that being said, packaging is pretty much the same like every single Sonic Movie 3 merch. Got the shadow eyes, got the shadow silhouettes. Then you just get the back of both of the boys just posing like they're Goku and Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. And that being said, pretty cool box artwork, very Sonic Adventure 2 inspired, which I like that. So without further ado, let's unbox the Super Saiyan Rodents Kamehameha! Living and hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Look, I know I'm not like the most professional when it comes to like recreating figure poses, but I try my best to like, you know, recreate this iconic shot that Sonic Adventure 2 did, also the third movie as well. But that being said, similar just like the 4-pack, yes, it does have an instruction manual of what Super Sonic and Super Shadow has, what they're capable of, including some battery stuff, blah, 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 which of course you guys could care less about, because all you guys care about is the figures. So that being said, I want to take a look at Super Shadow at first because, first of all, I think it was a lot more fair just to get Super Shadow, like, with Super Sonic, because I am aware that you can get Super Shadow, like, without the LED lights just for Wave 3 along with Gerald Robotnik, but like I said, it just doesn't feel the same without Sonic around. And yes, there is an individual Supersonic figure in particular where it doesn't have the LED features either, but like I said, I just think the LED lights just makes it a lot more better for these two just to glow up, and then literally you either just can make them fight each other just like they did in the third movie, or let them team up just like by the end of the movie. I gotta say, it's really cool. But that being said, I'm just gonna stick with Shadow firstly, and then I'll get to Sonic because, bro, look at the amount of aura, the amount of paints where this kind of looks like yellow PP and clear PP. I know that sounds weird, but that's how it is. So the articulations, dare I say it, I like that Shadow's legs doesn't feel loose compared to the 4-inch one that I got. Like, I can definitely see that this one's a bit more tight. So I definitely see like this Shadow. I think out of all the Shadow figures that I own, this one's definitely like the most flexible one, which I will compare it to the other Shadow figures that I've owned from the third movie wave. So you can definitely joint by the legs, by the shoes, which, by the way, I think the paint definitely looks a lot more darker on this. And then you see the bag where you see more of his red quills. It's like, bro, JAKKS Pacific really did their homework when it comes to this. And then let's get to Supersonic, which clearly they already made a figure of Supersonic individually as well with the second movie, but full disclosure, I've never owned a Supersonic figure. The only thing that I owned was a McDonald's toy, so that doesn't really count. Heck, I can even say the same for Sonic as well. Like, even his legs don't feel that loose at all, even the shoes as well. Bro, like, I can literally just make these guys levitate and it will be like not that hard to do. Like, for an instance, I can just make them fly off and then just go, follow me, ready to recycle some tin can, just try to keep up. Hey, that's my line, New Hedgehog. I usually say, try to keep up. And I think it would be so cool just like, you know, recreate iconic poses and then they just start flying over or they start fighting. But that being said, I think these figures were definitely worth the price of admission despite the long waits. So without further ado, let's compare it to the other Sonic figures and the other Shadow figures that I own. And here we have Sonic and Shadow along with their super forms, and I gotta say, like, that both of them are pretty accurate to their details. I mean, both of them have, like, similar eyesight, except, you know, green and red. Well, Shadow's, like, always been red ever since, like, you know, he's been created as the ultimate life form. But let's test out the light up features, because that was, like, the whole purpose why I buy it. So, let's turn off the lights, turn on the blue blur and the ultimate life form, and then, yo, this is exactly what I mean, boys. Like, look at it. It's almost in sync with each other. Live and learn. If you beg or if you borrow, live and learn. Yo, we got to do this again. See, this is exactly what I mean, man. It's like you could definitely like play with these figures at the night, and it looks so good by them. So, good job, JAKKS Pacific. You did a way past cool job with these figures. Man, I cannot stop lining them up. And then scaled them with the motorcycle Shadow plastic figure, which obviously is more like in sync with the other Shadows. And then you got this other Sonic from Sonic 2, which that's like the closest thing I could have because I don't have like the separate one where it's just him with the smiley face. But that's what they look like by high comparison between like all the Sonics and all the Shadow figures that I've owned throughout the Sonic Movie 3 wave. But outside of that, let's get to the other characters. And then comparison to Tails and Knuckles being part of the high. Tails is always the short kid as always. I say Super Sonic, Super Shadow on par. And Knuckles, let me take a look. Yeah, for some reason, Knuckles always has to be like the tallest one of them all. Just because, you know, he's 1,000,000% muscle. Hey, can I have some of your power like that? No, I already cracked your Knuckles once. Alright, fair enough. We shall do a fist fight instead. And now we got in scale with both of the Robotniks. So clearly Ivo's next to Sonic and Gerald's next to Shadow, which, okay, you know what? Let's test this theory out. So if Knuckles is as tall as Gerald, so technically these two figures are like the tallest. But that being said, I mean, literally the best thing about the action sequence when Sonic and Shadow were having their huge Dragon Ball Z, Man of Steel, Superman type of fights, these two are having their wacky shenanigans where I'm seeing Jim Carrey just fighting himself, even though it's just grandpa versus grandson. Well, that's one thing I like about their fights in the movies. Like, these two is like nostalgic but very epic, very badass. Well, this was just, you know, LOL laugh out comedy between, like, you know, comedy shenanigans of Mantis, that's what I call mantiscaping. That's elder abuse. But yeah, literally seeing them next to Super Sonic, Super Shadow, I can literally recreate moments from the final act. Like, imagine just Shadow by going, Shadow, I've seen that you chose a betrayal. You were once so useful to me. This is not what Maria wanted, Professor. Well, prepare to die. What did you do?
What I had to.
You hurt my family! This ends now! Now you know the pain how I felt for 50 years. And you made the same choices I did. I'm nothing like you! We'll see. Show yourself, coward!
You were right about one thing. This ends now. This ends now.
What the? Knuckles, what are you doing?
You hedgehogs have stolen my line. I'm the one that says this ends now in my TV show.
This ends now.
This ends now.
This ends now.
Do you mind? You're interrupting our personal battle. Yeah, Knuckles, this is meant to be between me and Shadow, so, do you mind not just to, like, you know, let us do our own thing?
Well, very well, Hedgehog, and other oppressive Hedgehog. I'm gonna keep on company with the fox and munch with some grapes.
The grapes are delicious.
Oh no.
Maria!
One more thing I learned. When you really screw something up, you can't fix it on your own. Gotta go fast.
Don't tell me you got a catchphrase.
That's right, new Hedgehog, and everyone loves it. And that's the end of all of the Sonic Movie 3 unboxing figures, thanks to the courtesy of Gerald Robotnik and the additions of Super Sonic and Super Shadow, including this mess of all these playsets and these action figures I got to unbox. For those that actually stick around so long, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on these figures. For those that have owned these latest Sonic Movie 3 figures, what have you hope for the future? If they ever, like, I don't know, make a Agent Stone figure, a Maria figure, or probably just wait till 2027 for Sonic 4 to make action figures of Metal Sonic and Amy Rose in 2027. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more uploads, especially for the Sonic 3 unboxing Blu-ray video that will come out next month. I'll definitely see you guys in the next video. Take care now, bye-bye then, and live and learn, my dudes!
It's been a real drag!
Thanks for nothing.
Thanks for nothing.